Okay, I got everything set up this time for real, okay? Think I should go into a bit explanation a bit. Yesterday I uploaded a video where I reacted to The Moon Wakes Up. It was good, except I had to delete it because I messed up with something on the recording settings. And before some of you ask, is it the common thing where I forget to make sure my mic's connected and everything? No, that wasn't the case actually. I made sure that was all good and everything, but I didn't make sure the other important thing was connected, and that was the audio playing on the computer. Yeah, like, it only captured my audio that time. My audio was captured, but nothing else was, and I was just like, are you kidding me? So yeah, that's why I deleted yesterday's reaction. Anyways, now that I got that out of the way, we're here for a casual geographic video today. Why this is the scariest predator of all time, and it's going over crocodiles, so yeah. I love me some crocs, love me the giant dinosaurs of today's time. Yeah, we're going to go over why this is the scariest predator of all time, so yeah. And I have a feeling that Gustav's going to be brought up, which is definitely a crocodile before, yeah. Anyways, I got nothing else for this intro, so we're gonna jump right into it. So let's go and do that now, shall we? And once again, thank you so much for 20k. And that's the kiwi bird with the oversized eggs that this thing has to lay.
Some animals very clearly got the middle finger from evolution. This is the portrait of privilege. There is no animal that's gotten more green lights from God than a bulletproof, sawtoothed, predatory sledgehammer with hyperintelligence, parkour prowess, and the ability to cryo-sleep like Captain America. Yeah, that menace is alive. Find out if you want to. Brumation's pretty much hibernation for reptiles. Basically a built-in power save mode for animals that already don't use much of it. But it means this is an apex predator that can survive a fate with Elsa, because gators and the like can survive a winter in a frozen pond by turning their metabolism all the way down, where they'll just stick their snouts above water and leave the rest under the ice where it's actually warmer until fate decides to defrost them. Mind you, brumation's not sleep, and gators will move around on days when it's warmer. But it also means this ill-mannered iceberg can probably sense you walking past it, thanks to another superpower we'll get into later. But you're gonna learn that not only is the mame gecko the most disrespectful addition to the food web, it is
There's a fishing Garrett video that I'm looking at right now. With all these crocodiles in one spot. Jesus Christ.
humanity's greatest predator. And whatever Oppenheimer felt when Hiroshima got hit with a massacre mushroom isn't even 1% of the regret felt by whoever unleashed an armor-plated equalizer onto Earth. Real quick, I'm gonna be saying crocodiles for most of this video, but a lot of this applies to crocodilians as a concept. I cannot express how much.
Yeah, we got like crocodiles, caimans, gharial. I probably didn't pronounce that right. I don't know. We'll find out. And then we got our typical gators. Yeah, and it's a weird snout for the gharial thingy. Yeah.
Every part of a crocodile's body is designed to author your obituary. That includes its walnut-sized brain. Because crocodiles are intelligent on a level that should deeply disturb you. Both mother crocodiles and American alligators will lure birds in by using sticks and twigs as bait to snatch their souls. That would already be bad enough, without the implication. The implication is that Satan's Snaggletooth stapler is able to take seasonality into account, because they're aware enough to pull this in the middle of nesting season. They're like Batman with prep time, except they've had 100 million years to plot. Another revelation is that the dinosaur time left behind will hunt as a pack, with scientists watching a group of crocs swimming in a circle around a shoal of fish, making the circle tighter and tighter until the fish were forced into a bait ball, just for the chompy boys to take turns cutting across the center of the circle to get their share of fish. There's another example where a massive saltwater crocodile scared a pig into running into a lagoon, where it was immediately.
Read this. Go back. Sometimes animals of different sizes would take up different roles. Larger alligators would drive a fish from the deeper part of a lake into the shallows, where smaller, more agile alligators would block its escape. In one case, a huge saltwater crocodile scared a pig into running off a trail and into a lagoon where two smaller crocodiles were waiting in ambush. Circumstances suggest that the three crocodiles anticipated each other's positions and actions without being able to see each other. Whoever did it is said. Yeah, so they know how to plan this, okay? So they're coming into this as a group with a plan, okay? Yeah, giving them some of that velociraptor intelligence right here.
Crocodile scared a pig into running into a lagoon, where it was immediately jumped by two smaller crocs waiting. Now the implication there is somehow the giant salty knew exactly what direction to force the pig. Crocs have been doing this, it's just as expert Vladimir Dene will tell you, it's incredibly difficult to study an animal that does its damage in the water. Because if you're in the water studying hunting crocodiles, chances are they're also studying you, and their thesis statement is your headstone engravement. Vlad has put in over 3,000 hours of watching crocs, and has witnessed things like a stronger, heavier croc driving fish to shore, with smaller, more agile teammates hawking cornered fish. Now you might ask, how do the crocs share their victims? And honestly, that might be more unsettling than how they murk them.
Oh boy.
Chris Campbell was a contractor for the Okefenokee Wildlife Reserve, which meant over a decade of watching what a neighbor gator is capable of. One day he showed up to work with 60-something gators posted up by the boat docks. What he described were two groups of gators, one in the semicircle formation driving fish to the shallows and using the boats to corner them, and the other group in the background resting, or more like waiting. Because whenever a gator from the hunting party caught a fish, he'd immediately retire to the waiting group, and one of the waiting crocs would sub in and take his place. This went on for hours, until it got hot enough for them to clock out and go their ways. But when Campbell went back the next morning, like clockwork, the morning crush was still there. Same time, same place, same agenda. That's a level of teamwork and foresight most people aren't willing to accept from a prehistoric snap trap. But your ignorance ain't bliss, in fact, it's what sustains them. In many spots in
this
Africa
case,
and Australia, people are warned never to get water from the same place more than once, and definitely not past twice. It's because crocodiles will memorize patterns and clock your daily routine, and getting too predictable around a professional camper means the croc
they're waiting and they're hoping you're stupid enough to try it. Yeah, I knew these things were intelligent. I didn't know they were this intelligent. Yeah, like you wasn't kidding that these things basically are Batman with prep time.
will take note, just to ambush you the next chance they get, and they'll use very little energy to do it. It's also why studying them is like edging death. Choose the same spots repeatedly, and at best, the croc notices and avoids you with no regard for your research. And at worst, Senor Snappy studies your habits enough to put a halo around your head. That's a real PhD, which makes the crocodile a gift-wrapped FU to any creature of habit, and why the most dangerous kind of croc is actually an investigator. But if you watch this video, you could be the smartest thing missing a spine. You'll still be a living doormat if you don't have the hardware to back it up. And no animal has more disrespectful hardware than a motion-activated bear trap.
Motion-activated bear trap? We talking about their bite? Because they got a pretty deadly-ass bite. Oh boy.
The crocodile is the most physically unfair predator on Earth because virtually every body part has been expressly designed to flatline you. They have the strongest recorded bite force of any animal at 3,700 pounds per square inch, making its jaw a steel trap capable of damage on par with.
And then we just hold the babies directly in that steel trap too, because why not?
Of war.
Crocodiles have a high bite force capable of transecting the body of an adult human into two parts or amputating the lower limb above the knee. It's very similar to mutilated war blast injuries. In water, humans are weaker and slower than other prey animals, have difficulty to balance their body, and are easier to be hunted. That is why a majority of crocodile attacks occur in water or near a water edge. Yeah, works out better for them. It's got some guillotine snappers.
But maturing's realizing it's the teeth as much as the jaw. Sharks have serrated teeth to slice through prey. Crocs have death cones designed to keep prey in its custody, meaning if a leather log bites you, you have the lowest chance of escape, which gets worse when the croc proceeds to drown you. And with crocs being able to hold their breath for up to 2 hours, trust that you'll pass tense long before he does. The only thing with those teeth is they're great for grabbing, useless for chewing. So they'll slam prey into chunks and swallow them whole, which leads to the most
we about to go into the death roll?
Broken finishing move of any animal, the death roll. But crocs also have the most acidic stomach of any animal and can dissolve bones, horns, and hooves. But they're also bloodbenders with a heart that controls exactly where the blood goes, and a feeding croc will direct blood to its stomach with the carbon dioxide.
And evidently they're not picky eaters either from that picture. Yeah, Jesus.
In it only makes the acid more corrosive. And good luck fighting back when nature made an evolutionary aggro weapon borderline bulletproof. Crocodiles are covered in osteoderms, and armor plating blocks the teeth of other animals from doing damage. Which is why there's more than one case of a croc tanking a gunshot, but the nasty work is what you can't see. The scales are said to manipulate water in a way that means a 20-foot problem doesn't make ripples. The osteoderms create countercurrents that cancel out any disturbances made in the water. Basically cloaking technology, but in a steroid reptile.
Yeah, that's just... And that's just kind of terrifying, too. Just know that they could have been there the whole time. It was like, I've been here knowing you're stupid. I've just been waiting. And as for the bulletproof skin they have, I'm pretty sure there's something that could break through it. There usually is. It's just that, you know, finding it and whether you'd actually be able to, because you're probably going to need the right ammunition and everything, too, and right gun, yeah. Maybe. Get the right one and, you know, you'd probably be fine. But not if you're, like, pulling out, like, a 9mm on this thing or something. But, you know, get something crazy, then maybe you'll be fine, maybe. I would hope. If not, then... I don't know.
Osteoderms can store heat for when it gets too cold and then release it when it's too hot. So they also have a built-in thermostat.
Nice.
There's one more trick under its skin.
Can I have one of those? Please, can I have a built-in thermostat? That would be nice.
And it's that when crocs spend all that time underwater, lactic acid starts to build up in them. But because osteoderms are made of mineralized bones, the minerals will slightly dissolve if the acid gets too high, releasing carbonate and bicarbonate ions that neutralize the acid and raise the pH. Crocs are nature's nepo babies. Evolution gave them every cheat possible. And with salties growing up to 20 feet long and pressing the scales at often over 2,000 pounds, it's not like they needed more.
Yeah, just... Did I accidentally press thing on OBS? Sorry, I accidentally premature clicked something in OBS and thought I accidentally built the go live button. Anyways, go back to... I know they can... I know they grow up to be big, but Jesus Christ, you could That's my PlayStation going off. But these things... This thing, you could literally just... This thing could swallow a person whole. Like, it could swallow some of these guys whole. Like, just... And that would not be fun, especially going over, you know, its stomach acid and everything, because Jesus Christ.
Often over 2,000 pounds, it's not like they needed more handouts, especially when you realize, except for a tail that stores fat like a camel's hump, crocs are almost all muscle and look like a snake with legs with Kratos' knives for teeth. That tail is a lot stronger than you think, and the same one that can briefly airlift a plus-size predator would absolutely shatter your leg with a direct hit. But there might not be anything more unsettling than crocodiles having probably the most advanced eyes of any animal.
Really?
Eyes nature put right at the top of their heads, so snappy lads can plot
Go back. I want to see that again.
Eyes of any animal. Eyes nature put right at the top of their head.
I'm sorry, it's just funny seeing them swim like this.
So snappy lads can plot on your life while cosplaying as a log. Eyes that have a protective nictating membrane, so even attacking one of their few weaknesses still requires two-factor authentication. Especially since they can retract their eyeballs. And like dolphins, crocs can rest half their brain at a time, meaning the pride of Steve Irwin can sleep with one eye open. And studies show they're more likely to do that when they're around humans. Also, they have night vision because
of course they do.
Yeah, that's not even the most broken.
And their eyes glow from most likely from the camera lighting. Yeah. Yeah. Or do they just glow in general? I don't know, but Christ. Reminds me of the Giga from Ark. The eyes just start glowing whenever he gets pissed off. Except the only difference is that this thing isn't. Well, maybe it is pissed off because you're in its territory. I don't know.
Part of their vision. The fovea is a small part of the retina, but it's where vision is the sharpest, and it's what you use when you focus on a specific word on a page, or play Where's Waldo. And when you move your eyes to look at something, got him, that's you putting the image on your fovea. The problem is, what is a tiny dot for us is the shape of a skid mark in a crocodile. Having a fat fovea means nature's favorite predator can scan an entire shoreline without moving its head. If you still don't follow, get a book and try to read the entire page without moving your eyes once, and then realize how much of a middle finger this creature's existence is. Especially since the Titanic scale demon has cockroach levels of plot armor. Crocodiles can tank freezing cold, extreme heat, radiation, and can live in waters contaminated with
radiation. Jesus.
Can tank freezing cold, extreme.
Is that why we don't have Godzilla yet?
Heat, radiation, and can live in waters contaminated with heavy metals. And with the diet of a morgue, they're resistant to nastiness like anthrax, cholera, and the most potent substance on Earth, botulism. They also have negligible senescence, meaning they don't really age the same way most animals do. It doesn't make them immortal, but it does mean that they never really stop growing. And can
that's something that yeah, that's something I still, oh my god. Yeah, that's something I remember is that these dudes they don't stop growing. They all keep growing. Eventually their growth slows to almost zero, but it still means their growth rate is indeterminate. Oh my god, things indeterminate. Yeah. All I heard from that is that its growth rate gets slower, but it don't stop. I heard it gets slower. I didn't hear it stops. Maybe one day we'll get a kaiju-sized crocodile. No, that's not gonna happen. It'll starve before it gets to that it gets to that size. It will. That'd probably ruin the ecosystem too, because you know, something that size would most likely would. Yeah, yeah. That's why the megalodon doesn't exist. We would have a ruined aquatic ecosystem from that. Yeah,
Easily
because
past
of how much it need to eat.
100. In fact, right now there's a croc that's been alive since 1900, like the year, which means other than
Damn.
a Greenland shark.
Yeah,
I don't think
and there's that. Yeah, if I remember correctly from the Moorpars video, if this is the same shark, I remember this thing was these sharks can live up to like 500 years. So we have one that was alive all the way from the Revolutionary War all the way till like 9/11. Yeah.
there's another predator that can outlive a croc, and with them being nature's favorite, of course some sick muppet made them resistant to cancer. And many believe it's thanks to their gut, because the gut microbiome is said to be a huge part of your health, and a crocodile's gut community manages to UNO reverse cancer. An experiment found that their gut bacteria put the brakes on cancer and slowed the growth of cancer-causing cells. Basically, it's a cancer to cancer, and now I understand why Buddy from Spider-Man crashed out, especially since it's
You know what? That's... Alright, yeah. Maybe the lizard was onto something, okay? Maybe he was onto something.
Turns out, alligators and crocodiles can regenerate a lost tail. Crocodilian blood also throws hands with bad bacteria and can dead diseases like salmonella and staph infections. This thing's built like a Dark Souls boss, and the fact that they can survive several acts of God yet get neutralized by a rubber band around the mouth proves nature has a sense of irony. But that's a lot better than getting folded.
Isn't that... I think that's because they can... Is that because of, like, they can't open their mouth up too hard, but they can snap it down so hard? Is that why? You just hop on their mouth and keep it closed, and then, you know, that's it? Or one would assume, I guess. It's obviously going to be moving around, but still. Yeah.
Some of the diseases out there, and there's some stuff that Satan would second guess. Viewer discretion is advised, and this time I'm so serious. I'm not being cute. If you're queasy and not built for body horror, go here before I ruin your whole day. Your lack of action will be considered consent, I'm just saying. Last chance, you can still go back.
Christ.
Alright, this is on you. 3, 2, happy
Holy
Halloween.
Jesus!
I didn't even curse, I did gag a little. This is a deer suffering from papillomavirus, and it's usually not harmful unless you value mental health. But it can also cause Lovecraftian rabbits, with those affected seeming to grow tentacles.
Yeah, that
and
thing.
If you live in Colorado,
I remember seeing
you've
that.
Definitely seen these jackalopes popping up. And according to this article, the cutaneous quills are caused by the cottontail papillomavirus. This is the worst thing you can see while a mile high.
Yeah.
Because of the altitude. We fear most what we can't understand.
Yeah, that was... Yeah, I forget. I remember the tentacle coming out of the rabbit thing, but the deer thing, oh, that was unwarranted, bro. That was unwarranted. But hey, I didn't skip into the video, so you know that's all on me. But still, ugh. So yeah, I can't really blame him for that because I was just like, don't worry, I can do it. Went in, but still, that was ugh. That was not a fun sight. It was not a fun sight. Jesus Christ.
And sometimes it feels like fear is the only thing stories like these are selling, and how that story is told could be the difference between being informed
this transition to an
and
ad?
building a panic bunker expecting the end of the world. That's where ground news comes in. Because if we're talking about a mutant deer with flesh bubbles for sanity's sake, you better be informed. Their app and website pulls from over 50,000 sources worldwide to give you context about each source's biases, reliability, and ownership. It allows you to compare how different outlets cover the same story and see where the truth really lies. And with the rabbit story, Ground News shows you over 200 sources, and that most of the reporting came from the left or center. If I scroll down, I can see all the articles, and the more sensational headlines that were calling them Frankenrabbits actually came from lower factuality sources. As you can guess, the higher rated outlets were the ones explaining what was going on. The internet's great for showing you things you'd otherwise be blind to, but it's also great for erasing context and mass producing misinformation, which is why Ground News takes the mask off of who's really pushing a story to explain the inexplicable, and Ground News was even recognized by the Nobel Peace Center for their efforts in media literacy. If you'd like a guide to navigate random rabbit holes, no, not this one. By now, you already know, I partnered with Ground News to get you 40% off the same unlimited access Vantage plan I'm using. Make sure you go to groundnews.com/casualgeographic Casual Geo or scan the QR code on screen to subscribe for only $5 a month. So hopefully I will never have to look at that deer again. But
Yeah.
you'll never see a croc with something like that. It just wasn't
Thank
enough.
God.
Nature gave an overachieving iguana the most broken build on the planet. Their abilities would get
Baby
them
death roll.
banned in any game. Like I said, a crocodile on a stakeout can hold its breath for hours, and alligators can survive a 5-month cold plunge. Low metabolism means they live on power save mode, and it's also why a crocodile can go up to 2 years without eating. God bless the bloke that breaks his fast.
2 years without eating? I knew they could go a while without eating, but I didn't know they could go up to 2 years. Like, Jesus Christ.
It means crocodiles can wait out the times that would surely wipe out anything else, and now you see how an aggressive snout managed to reject the same death that found the dinosaurs. Crocs have been around since Saturn was single and still waiting on a ring, and the fact that they can just suspend animation by putting their life on layaway just proves that they really are the teacher's pet of evolution. Also, crocodiles are more than capable of running fast enough to catch you off guard,
yeah.
or at least a Cuban croc will, and this is the one time I wish it were AI. Whoever said you should run away from one in a zigzag is guilty of attempted murder. That is a myth that only ups the chance that you trip and go out like a horror movie.
Yeah, like, I don't know where that came from, and I've never had to use it or try to use it, but it's, I've asked if that's true, and everyone said, no, that doesn't work. That doesn't work. So I'm just like, so in that case, do I just book it? If I ever come into a situation like this? Is that what I gotta do? Just straight up book it and just pray to God I'm fast enough or something? I don't know.
You could climb a tree, except they can do that too.
Yeah.
Because honestly, why not? They do everything else. And not only do they climb trees, according to scientists, they do it regularly. Them finding grown adults 10 feet in the trees and juveniles as high as 30. School taught you to be afraid of quicksand and giant Venus flytraps, yet somehow a drop gator was an unmentioned possibility.
Yep.
They can also climb fences of every kind. And again, you already know where this was taken.
Florida.
This is flagrantly Floridian. I think now's a good time to make it.
I thought so. Because I was just like, this is Florida, isn't it? Like, the moment I saw him climb fences, I was just like, oh yeah, this is Florida. I was right. I remember because I saw, like, a vid where, like, a crocodile or gator, I don't know which one it was, but they were in, like, this guy's backyard and, like, over the fence or what, trying to get over the fence. They were on the top of it like this right here, and it was just... It was a whole thing.
Crocodiles are more related to birds than to a turtle, snake.
Oh yeah, that was it. That was it. Yeah.
We just
This is the
barely
vid.
missed out on this freak being able to fly. Flightlessness aside, another thing they can't do well is see underwater. Their aquavision is actually kind of mid.
Oh.
We're this far into this video and we finally found a weakness. Don't get too excited because
It's
nature
not-
overcompensated with something outrageous.
Yeah, and it's not too great of a not too good of a weakness because you're kind of weak in there too. So you're still both because you're still slower and weaker under there. While the worst thing they got was lower vision. So you're still at a huge disadvantage.
Those pits seasoning the crocodile are pressure sensors, and it's how the ultimate predator can clock the smallest vibrations in the water.
Oh.
It completely erases their lack of water vision. In fact, you could hogtie a croc blindfolded, throw it into a pool, and let a leaky faucet drip on the complete opposite side. The croc will still know exactly where the water's coming from, while you won't know where he is until you
And even then, that very small disadvantage it gets doesn't matter.
wake up at a Tupac concert. And when murkiness brings the water's visibility to 0, they'll T-pose, spreading their legs and fingers to maximize an already broken ability. And speaking of fingers, their jaws are more sensitive than yours. A dinosaur beast breathing like a Nosuke, but let the croc tell it. That's the only demon that's slaying. And I don't know if I said this already, but let's not just walk past the fact that they can regenerate their tails like a starfish's arm. But the thing is, bears are berserker builds on steroids.
Yeah.
Cats are four-legged fur ninjas, and orcas are the most cerebral serial murkers on the planet.
Yeah.
What is it about this semi-aquatic bioweapon that makes me confidently call them the scariest predator on Earth?
Well.
Oh, simple. They're a predator's predator.
Oh.
Is there a single predator that generates more anxiety than other predators? Even cheetahs aren't fast enough to cheat death in the hit range of the reptile. And the king of the jungle gets a severe vibe check when they're out of their element. Not to mention, crocodiles will savage sharks to the point where many believe bull sharks actively avoid them. Crocodile
Jesus.
is the worst kind of predator, one with zero prejudice, which makes them a massive threat to the most successful predator of all time.
Humans?
Here's the thing, when a lion, tiger, or bear becomes a man-eater, it usually means something's wrong and they can't hunt their normal prey.
Right.
Polar bears and Komodo dragons are famously less picky, but their home base is so remote that most people will never have to worry about them.
Yeah.
Not only do crocodiles practice the worst kind of equality, they're basically everywhere. It's not that they actively go after humans, just that they genuinely don't care, which is why it's the
So they're just like so they're just not. The way what I'm getting is that these guys are not picky eaters. They see food, they're like, I bet. So yeah.
Crocodile that turns more humans into hashtags than any other large predator by a lot, and considering how and where they do, that number could easily be higher. Even if you don't get killed by a crocodile, there's plenty of psychological damage that comes from being targeted by one.
I bet.
In 2003, 2 Australian teenagers spent 22 hours trapped in a tree while being stalked by a 13-foot crocodile below, and the entire night was the two keeping each other awake so they wouldn't fall in. To make it even worse, thanks to a flood, the waters kept rising, and the croc seemed to taunt the two by showing off the body of the third friend it had already caught. The two would be saved, but only by helicopter. Because really, what else can you do in that situation?
Yeah, like...
Well, they didn't get it as bad as Ryan. The New Zealander also got stalked by a croc almost as big as the 20-foot kayak he was traveling in, and held captive on Governor Island, where the predator repeatedly made his presence known. 2 weeks with limited food and water, and a 20-foot undertaker that would chase him every time he tried to leave, and Ryan was hanging on by only a thread by the time he was rescued. That's the horror of being hunted by the greatest sit-and-wait predator of all time. Because time is their greatest resource. You'll never have more of it than they do. And the fact that the big ones can go a year
like just...
is their greatest resource.
First of all, I don't know what I'm doing in this because I will never put myself in a situation where I get into this situation, okay?
You'll never have.
And then the camouflage here is just... Oh man, you gotta have like ultra vision to spot this.
More of it than they do. And the fact that the big ones can go a year or more between meals and do their dirty work in murky water makes a man-eating crocodile the most difficult kind to deal with. Gustav was a Nile crocodile believed to be 20
I knew Gustav was gonna be brought up in this.
feet long and well over 2,000 pounds. Believed because despite allegedly putting 300 people in past tense and being repeatedly shot, the serial killer croc was never officially caught. And despite reports of his death, because he was believed to have hatched in the 50s, there's a small but legitimate chance he's still out there, biding his time, just waiting for someone to wander close enough to become 50 Shades of Prey. You never see them until it's too late, and once you do, you might not see them for another year. It's a self-cloaking carnivorous convict that the land before time left behind. This is the scariest predator on Earth. But of course, it's just an animal doing what comes naturally. They're not evil, just forged by millions of years of character development and mass extinctions. It's not hard to see why Steve Irwin wrote so hard for them, and I wouldn't be doing Khaki Jesus justice.
Like, yeah, they usually, animals just be animals, Yeah, it's like Chris Rock. It's like Chris Rock once said, the tiger didn't go crazy, the tiger went tiger.
If I convince you to hate them. Now, with them it's respect, and a very healthy helping of fear, because moral of the story, always beware the old man in a game where men die young. And you always beware the landlord of Croc Country, because you'll never know when rent's due.
Yep. Oh, that was good. That was really good. I liked it. Alright, I got nothing else for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, check out the original, which will be linked in the description below. Go support Casual Geographic for making this. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications so I don't miss anything. Have a good day, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.